Right, so I'm going to go over gold. If you guys have any questions, just type it up. Also, if you guys want me to go over other pairs, I will as well. But yeah, so gold on the higher time frames, as you all know, feel me, all the way at the moon. So I'm not gonna lie, just not like two tradable conditions. You feel me? So yeah, I always mention the same thing. We shouldn't be touching gold when it's on a higher time. I mean, when it's all the way at the moon like that. But you can possibly catch some intraday, I mean, some scalps along the way. So yeah, pretty much. Let's see. Here I wouldn't be touching all-time highs. That is Monday. Monday opens up at the moon. Once it builds some price action, you can start trading towards it. Like for example, you got all this. Um, I mean, you got all these lows over here. So Tuesday you wouldn't be trading because all-time highs. You feel me? And then it comes lower on it's still Tuesday. Um, yeah. So once it does this, right, and it's building all that liquidity to the upside, you can start looking for plays, right? Like short-term moves, plays and stuff like that. Like you can see over here, swept this low over here and then started moving to the upside. So you can catch longs there, just about that. I'm not gonna go too much in details into it because as I mentioned, it's all-time highs, so there's no point. But yeah, that's my understanding of behind trading when it's all-time highs. Just wait for some sort of liquidity to be built, to either the upside, the downside, and then trade towards it. And like little scalps, not even scalps, like you can possibly get a decent move, especially because it's gold. But yeah, I just don't think it's tradable other than honestly. Hmm, let me see something. Other than this day, let me see if there's any entries. Yeah, no entries. Okay. So not tradable. I'll just move on to Euro. I don't even know if Euro is tradable, but we'll go over the price action nonetheless. All right, so let's see. Monday is right here. Okay, so let's go to the hourly time frame. I'll be honest, it's not too clean, but on the hourly, it doesn't look that good, but we'll see. So all that liquidity was swept. Okay. Comes into that imbalance and then starts moving away. After that, what happens? Simple stuff. High gets taken out, builds that liquidity there, and then finally takes it out. And then has the move up. Okay. We got now a liquidity block over here. Moves to the upside. All right, so let's do this. There you go. Interesting. Yeah, unless you're entering like higher time frame, catching this would be insane because it just kept inching lower each time. Uh, let me see. 15. Hmm. Yeah, I probably would have done like a higher time frame entry if I'm being honest. Something like this. You got your BOS to the upside, trap over here. I would have waited for it to come into that area and then long. That'll be like a higher time frame, 15-minute time frame type of entry. Stops below the low over here. Um, let's see. Started moving to the upside, cleared the highs. Okay. So this is Monday right here. Honestly, on Monday, let's go to the 5. Okay. All right. So, um, in real time on a Monday, looking at this as a liquidity block, and then probably would have seen this as an entry. Not bad though, but nonetheless, it does come break even. There you go. That would be the trap. As you can see, it starts reacting here, building that liquidity. Finally comes, takes it out. That would be the entry, right? Expecting higher prices, obviously, because we don't know how deep it wants to come before it has to move. Like as you can see, it did all this. It then moved away. It does make sense though. You got all these highs over here, right? Let's say you did enter here and kept your stops below. Honestly, in real time, I'd be targeting the highs. You feel me? But obviously, as soon as these highs get taken out, you have to understand, now it's ABOS to the upside, right? Buyers are induced. So you'd have to manage accordingly. So as soon as these highs were taken out, this one, or not that one, but this one, um, you would have to at least manage it accordingly. And then, yeah, pretty much. So it will probably get stopped out break even. Honestly, in real time, I'm not even sure if I'll take partials, anything. Yeah, I wouldn't have taken any partials here. Depends. If I seen this type of price action, I don't know how long this was. Let's see. Yeah, 4 hours of that. I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have got out. There's no way I'm sitting through all that. Um, and then yeah, pretty much takes out one of these highs and then starts moving to the downside. Takes out this. This is the thing. Takes this out. So if you were in this, I'll still expect longs. I'm not gonna lie. You got that liquidity above here, all this as well. I would expect it to come into here and then short down. You feel me? But nonetheless, you would have to manage accordingly if you were long there. Um, in terms of shorts, I just wouldn't see it because you got all this liquidity up here, right? And then pretty much just doesn't fit my plan. There you go. And then obviously it sells off. And takes out the low. Takes out the low. All right. So after taking out this low, I didn't really take out anything else. Just decided to come into this minor little 5-minute liquidity block over here. I don't know if you guys see it, but that right there. Um, comes for that, starts to move into the upside. And then let's see. Builds liquidity below here. All right, you got liquidity built below here. This area right here. Yeah. All right. It did take out this high over here, but you have to understand, you know, tons of liquidity over here. And you also got this, right? Comes into this area right here, reacts from here. Okay. Moves to the upside, takes these out, induces buyers. All right. And then traps the buyers over here. Okay. So if you're not too confident taking it straight from here, it does because it does respect the low over here. You also got that as well. But yeah, pretty much if you're not too confident in taking it from down here, honestly, you can, as long as it stays below here. Um, and you got this as well. This would be the second entry. Or if you're not too confident in that either, then of course you got your third entry. Damn. Right here, liquidity block. And then respects the high again. Entry. So yeah, pretty much. That's what I would say for Euro, the Euro longs. Entry number one would be around London session. Entry number two would be 6:35, so that's the London. And then entry number three is New York Open, like 9:15. I mean 8:15. So it's not really New York Open, but yeah, pretty much. That would be the long. You got a couple opportunities towards the highs. If you did take it from here, it would be a, let's see, for the whole low. Yeah, this one would be kind of insane. 1 to 11. Obviously you should be taking partials along the way. Maybe go break even here, and then you got this liquidity above. So you can take partials there. And then you obviously got this high as well, and you got these highs to the left. So yeah, pretty much. That would be the entry during London. Wait, why did I do that? Oh, oh God. Okay. Anyways, gotta redo this. Okay, so you get your 1 to 11 if you enter during London. That was your entry. Um, your next area of entry, your next entry would be this. Like I mentioned, you got all this liquidity right here. Okay. Comes into the extreme, comes here, respects the low again, builds that liquidity, and then it moves lower, induces sellers, traps buyers, all that good stuff. And then honestly, you could just enter anywhere in this imbalance right here. Let me actually move this right there. Okay. You can honestly enter anywhere in this imbalance. As you can see, there's like a small little imbalance here. You can enter there, or um you can be a little, you can wait for the extreme as well. Obviously, I don't be waiting for extremes. I probably would have entered anywhere in here. Just enter somewhere there. Because there will be so many times where I wait for the extreme and it didn't tap me in. So pretty much that would be the entry. Number two, just so you entered over here somewhere. Boom. And then top loss would be the low. And then target the highs. So it gives you a nice 1 to 5.6. Obviously because the stop loss is a lot bigger. And then you got your third entry over here. Like I mentioned, comes into the highs, respects this little trap. And then you got you got all this liquidity right here. Comes for that. That would be the entry. And then you got your liquidity block there, or you could be a little safer and keep it below here, right? So you have a choice. Depends on how safe you like to be. And then just keeping your stops below the low, right? So you got one over here, or you can just do one of this. I'm not gonna lie, I probably would have been, yeah, I would probably keep it below this low. I don't like doing these. I used to back in the days. Uh, I used to do one of these, but it's better to be safe than sorry, you feel me? So pretty much, entry would be like right there. And then yeah, pretty much you get a 1 to 5 over here. 1 to 5. So there's three opportunities that day for longs on Euro. Unfortunately, what did I do after? Yeah, that was kind of crazy. Comes here to the extreme. 15. uh, what does it do? Okay, I get it. I get it. Comes into this high right here. You see there, you got your little structural liquidity there. Um, also reacts from there. Okay, has that short move, clears the what is it? Previous. Comes here. Obviously, this was probably when. Honestly, I'm not even sure when this was. Maybe news. From there, sells off, takes out the low over here, traps buyers, comes into this area. Honestly, no entry here. No entry. Because you got that. You also got, it could have easily came below the low as well. Um, so yeah, I don't really see any good entries over here. No clean liquidity block as well. It's just, yeah, tough one. No entries here. This is obviously during Asia though. I just realized. A little slow. Starts moving to the upside. Uh, this was Thursday. You got Friday coming in over here, and it looks absolutely terrible. Yeah, it makes sense though. Obviously Euros at the back to these highs that I've been talking about since time. Because even in the WAP course, yeah, I was talking about these highs getting taken out. So I've been screaming these highs since, honestly, I've been screaming these highs since 2023, pretty much. So finally it's coming for those highs. It's reacting from there. As you know, it is a liquidity block. Okay. So we can possibly see some moves down maybe next week. This would be nice. That would be kind of like a higher time frame Da Vinci setup, but pretty much looks pretty nice for longs to the highs. Friday though, let's go back into PA. Yeah, not too great. After taking out all these highs, right? You don't want to be selling it, honestly. So yeah, nothing on Friday, if I'm being honest. Nothing I like. I do want to see something like this occur though. Respect the highs. It's more like a higher time frame play. You got this, respect the highs, come trap the buyers, and then like maybe on the hourly time frame we get something along the way. And then it starts moving to the upside again. We could possibly get a couple entries along the way, but Pretty much. I do want it below here. That would be great. But yeah, that's for Euro. Does anyone else want me to go over anything else? I'll be going to actually let me look at Nas 100. All right. Yeah, this was quite insane. Guys said the best pair in Nas. Friday, this is Thursday. Yeah, I talked about gold. Honestly, it's at all-time high, so I didn't really go too much into details. But I talked about what's it called? Uh I didn't really go in details though, because the all-time highs. I don't want to be looking at trade I mean looking for anything at all-time highs. Right? And also me going over it is just gonna let everyone else think it's okay to be trading at all-time highs. So I decided not to. But yeah, no worries. Just my personal opinion. I don't think anyone should be trading, you know, when it's at all-time highs. I've been saying this for quite a long time. I've said it every time gold's been at all-time highs. Talked about it. Don't trade it, and everyone still does. So, yeah, pretty much. I'm just not gonna go over it though. All right, so we got Monday opening up right there. Let's go over the higher time frame though. The daily. Yeah, this shit is crazy. That's just free fall at this point. Okay, so obviously after this right here, right? After it takes out all this liquidity over here, it has that pullback. Okay, and you can see it while having that pullback, it's also built liquidity too. Right, you can see a bunch of lows over here, and then it takes out this over here. Okay, so let's go to the lower time frames. Okay, after taking that out, next area of liquidity, honestly, in my opinion, would have been this right here. I know it does take out this low as well. Oh, it doesn't. Interesting. Um, Boom. That'll be the next area of liquidity as soon as it traps sellers and induces buyers. All right, let's go to the 1 hour time frame and just look at this. All right. Yeah, like I mentioned, took out this high and then sold off. You got all that liquidity as well, right? So pretty much after that, you get this. That's quite insane. Okay, you finally get a move higher coming from that liquidity block. It makes sense. Okay, so comes into that liquidity block, starts moving higher. Let's go over PA. I am on the hourly, so 15. Wait, am I tripping? It's April 5th right now. One second, guys. Oh, okay, okay. All right, so you got all this liquidity over here, as you can see. Okay. So Asia, there's a lot of liquidity there. This is honestly a very simple one. You got your build up, which was Asia, right? You got all this over here, sweeps the liquidity, and then starts moving to the opposite direction. Just don't know if there's entries. Let's see. Check out the low. Let's go to the lower time frames, maybe the 5-minute. Come check this out. All right. Takes this out. Got to get to work, bro. Can you go? All right, no problem. I'll go over GJ. Okay, so you got your BOS to the upside, takes out the low, traps buyers, on a smaller time frame. Comes here, starts moving to the upside. If you go to the 1-minute time frame, I believe there was some sort of entry. Have a good day, everyone. Yeah. Have a good day. Have a good weekend for me. I'm just trying to. Where is it? Okay, right here. All right, so over here you can see this is why I sold off from here. And then finally takes out the high and then starts moving into the upside even more. Okay. So after taking out the high, it doesn't just from here, it doesn't just sell off, right? So that's why we can possibly expect it longer. We also got all that liquidity to the upside as well, right? So even though take out this high, you can see, boom, right? Comes into the trap. Okay. Let me just try it out with an actual box. Okay. Comes into the trap. After that, I mean, honestly, even before that, you can see like high, low, higher low, building that structure, building that liquidity. And then finally comes and traps buyers, right? Buyers get trapped right there. And, look at this. You got your liquidity block below as well. And then you just have to see what price action gives you. So yeah, honestly, if I wouldn't mind this, to be honest. Let me see. Yeah, I wouldn't mind this one. You got liquidity block over here. Okay. Price moves all the way to the highs. Respects this again. Okay. I'm building that liquidity over there. And then finally comes lower. And yeah, I wouldn't have minded entering somewhere here. Maybe below here. Stops below the low. And then just targeting the highs. All right, all these highs over here. 1 to 5, not bad. That was probably the only trade, the only entry. Yeah, that was literally the only entry. Because after that, yeah, after it takes out this high, honestly, I don't know how much lower it wants to go. Could have easily came for here. So expecting it to go up from here is kind of wishful. But yeah, pretty much. That was your only entry, in my opinion. And there you go. His TP. That was the only entry for Nas on Monday, I believe. Monday. And then if you go to the 5-minute, let's go check it out real quick. All right. So after that, you can see moves all the to these highs. You got all this as well. You got all this liquidity, the structural liquidity. Okay. Comes into that area. You got your, what time was this? This was Tuesday, 5 a.m. So boom. BOS to the upside. Traps the buyers over here. And then you also got your liquidity block over here. Oh, I remember this. I actually took this. Okay, so simple stuff, honestly. BOS to the upside. You got liquidity above here. You know, you can also target this liquidity as well. But yeah, pretty much. You got your BOS to the upside, induces buyers. You know, buyers get trapped right here. And honestly, before it traps the buyers, right? Before taking out Asia low, the reason I really liked it was because of this. Or the reason I was able to enter from this liquidity block over here, right, was because of this. This gave me confidence of it going higher right away, right? So you got your BOS to the upside over here, and then comes and traps the buyers, takes out that liquidity as well. You know, traps buyers over here by that BOS, and then has another one over here, right? So that gave me confidence to enter as soon as it stabs the low. Okay. I waited for it to tap into this area right here in that imbalance. And then I targeted the highs. Yeah, simple stuff. Entry traps the buyers, induces sellers. You also got that liquidity over here now. Okay, and then straight to the highs. Right there, just like that. Well, yeah. That was the entry on Tuesday. This was around, yeah, this was New York. London though. Yeah, I don't really like London, I'll be honest. It's all it did was, 'cause this was London, right? You got respecting the low, comes takes out the high, so nothing for London. And yeah, pretty much we got it going all the way to the highs, clears all this liquidity over here. Okay. And then pretty much has that BOS to the upside again, right? As you can see from here, right? Pulls back, creates this low right here, and then has that BOS inducing buyers. Finally comes and traps the buyers over here. Comes into the extreme. Honestly, this was during stock open, so I mean catching an entry here or long from down here would be quite I don't know if you can honestly. Unless you set a limit. But yeah. After that, it just started moving to the upside. I believe this was a live call day. So yes. What happened here? Took out the high. Oh yes, I remember now. Right here. Honestly, the only thing would be this. Expecting price to go higher. If you're expecting price to go higher, you got your entry right here. Boom. Boom. And then that's your liquidity block. Unfortunately, there's no like other entry over here. Just went straight to the highs. So yeah, pretty much that would be the only entry for the longs. I know we took a sell, I believe. Yeah, the sell was taken because of this. But it makes sense. I think Marco wasn't sure if it was gonna go higher or lower. And yeah, pretty much. Yeah, comes takes out the high. That was quite insane, I'm not gonna lie. Decides to take out the high. Makes sense though. You got this BOS to the downside, so expecting the highs to go makes sense. And then yeah, pretty much after it takes out the high. That was insane. The fact that I came for all this and then just died. I know this was Trump speaking, but damn. Someone take him out of office. Uh yes. So that was Wednesday. Thursday. What did it do on Thursday? Let's see. 5 minute. Yeah, after such a big move, honestly, should not be trading. That is my honest opinion. But there was something on Thursday though. Oh, it looks different because I'm looking at Nas right now. Okay. Thursday, what happens is on on NQ, it takes out the high over here somewhere. There was something it took out. And then comes lower and comes into these lows. Respects it, moves out of there, takes this out. You got your BUS to the upside. Okay. And then after that, actually, I'm not sure if it took out something on NQ. Because I did expect it to go a bit higher, but nonetheless, respects this. So this tells me everything. Comes all the way to the extreme, builds that liquidity there, has a sharp move up, inducing buyers right there. And then yeah, this would probably be the only good clear entry on Thursday. Boom. Starts moving lower and then just keeps inching lower, right? You can see all this right here. Builds all of that liquidity. Okay, so think about it. Each time just takes out the low, pulls back, creates a high, takes out the low again, pulls back, creates a high. Keeps doing that over and over again. Coming into this whole area, right? This whole area, wants to respect that whole area. And then moves away from there, sharp bullish move. What does that tell me? Buyers induced. Boom, takes that out. Honestly, that is not an entry for me, right? Because you got your BOS to the downside right here. So, um, entering here is just a little risky, right? So you wait for what price action gives you, and honestly, it comes lower, okay? Respects the low again, and then moves away, right? So moves out of there, and this would be an entry. Right there, entry. And then, yeah, you could just do one of these straight to the lows. Gives you a nice 1 to 4. But yeah, just understanding after such a big move, you can only catch something very, very slight and small, like a little scalp. This is more of like a scalp, honestly, not even an intraday move. But yeah, pretty much. You got this as well. Let's say you missed the entry here, right? Let's say you missed that one. Now price comes back into these lows. Any reactions from here? False, right? You can see clearly, boom, BOS to the downside, BOS to the downside, induces sellers. Sellers get trapped. And then if you're a little crackhead, you can see this. Let's move that over. I'm not gonna lie, that's how I did it. And then straight to the lows. A little risky because obviously you're expecting this should hold. But yeah, nonetheless, that'd be another one if you're into that risky trade, or if you're okay with taking a risky trade. That'll be the next one. Yeah, or it's terrible, but still something for this type of day. Still something decent. Um, but yeah, there you go. It's just moves to the downside, right? Traps the buyers, and then yeah, after that from this low, takes out this high, and then finally comes lower. And let's see. Yeah, that was insane. That was Thursday. Friday. Let's get into Friday. I believe this sell-off was during London. Yes. Wow. I wouldn't even be looking at price action on Friday. That is very, very disgusting. But um hmm. All right. High gets swept right there. Yeah, only entry would be this. You got all this liquidity over here. Okay. Honestly, these are going to be short-term plays because the market's just a free fall, right? Um, not even short term, but I don't know how to explain it. It's like you just sell towards the next point of liquidity, which is honestly, damn. Yeah, these lows, right? I think that's where it comes to next. These charts are tripping me out because this is not. I've been looking at NQ lately. So yeah, pretty much. Okay, nonetheless, high gets taken over there, right? On the 1 minute time frame, you can see it coming into, I mean, it's inching lower, right? You can see that. Finally takes this out. Okay. Whoa, that was crazy. Okay. Comes, takes that out. Liquid block right there. That'll be an entry towards this low. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna lie to you. I wouldn't know what the direction was. Yeah. So, that was the only thing I'll probably see. And from year to year, that's about it. After that, I know it does this. Actually, I don't like the sell after that. Respects this. I would have liked this, like for example, this part uh to happen before taking out this high. That would have been nicer, but you know, takes that out. There you go. It is a liquidity block, respects it. Kind of looks ass, but regardless, comes into the low over here, takes this out, and that'll probably be the only entry I can see. But yeah, you'd have to be very, very like good at spotting it though. It's not really the easiest thing to spot and catch. But nonetheless, I don't think Friday was decent though. It was all right. I mean not all right. It was not to my liking, but nonetheless, if you're trying to force an entry. Yeah, but there was an entry during London. Let me check. London. Yeah, this guy's screaming at me. All right, London. Let's see. Boom. Okay. Takes that out. Moves lower. Moves out of here. I believe this was a low to the left. It's out of there. Induces buyers. Let's see. Are you talking about this one? Oh, after that, okay. Yeah, honestly, I think after respects is high, it is a liquidity block, so it makes sense why I respected that right there. Starts inching to lower, right? I don't like looking at this type of PA, it's just gonna be a headache, but nonetheless, prints that high, moves lower, you got all this liquidity over here, takes it out, induces buyers, comes lower. When it respects this, if it were to come above there, that'd be a decent entry. You could do one of these two, center right here. Stops above, and that'll be safer. Like this entry will be safer. Trying to catch this. Let me do that. Trying to catch this right here. And then putting your stops, a little risky business. But yeah, this would be nice. And then you got this as well. This one right before it sold off. That one. And yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's the one I saw. That one was nice too. Um, just expecting lower prices makes sense. But ooh, that price action gives me eights. No problem. No problem. No problem. All right. That's about it for Nas. I did say I was gonna go over GJ, right? So the other guy. What was it? Matt Jones. He asked for GJ. All right. Let's go over GJ real quick, and then I will go over. Well, I'll just go over GJ and call it a day. I believe it's been an hour. Um. Right. Where's Monday? Wait. That's Monday. Okay. So, let's take a look. Let's take a look higher time frame wise. Let's go to the 4 hour. Damn, this is quite nice. Okay, so price took out this low. Moves to the upside, respects the low over here, builds that liquidity. You can also see this happen, BOS, and then it comes here, takes out this, and that's why it flew up. But irrespective of this, right? So now it just built more liquidity. There's a ton of liquidity below here. Okay. And then after that, takes out the high again, comes all the way back to the extreme. So now there's structural liquidity there. Okay. Structural liquidity there, most of the upside comes and takes out this I believe it was structural liquidity. I can't tell. Boom, boom. Nope, it takes it out. Okay. So, comes above here, traps sellers. Okay. And then we'll just have to respect that. Okay. So trap sellers, and then let's see what Monday does. That was pretty clean, I'm not gonna lie. You got let's go into it actually. 15. Let's go hourly first. All right. Monday opens up. And then you get this better price action. I was just focusing on that sell off. That was beautiful. But yeah, pretty much. What happens is okay, because liquidity takes out the high, moves lower, and then let's see. You got that right there. some sort of liquidity block it's reacting from. Okay. You also got this as well. All right, so let's see the 5-minute time frame. Okay. And this is London. So London, I wouldn't really see anything, honestly. This is not to my liking, but yeah, just wait for New York to open type thing. Or actually, this wasn't bad. Let's see. Respects the high. Traps buyers. You got the sharp move down, so induces sellers as well. And then moves higher. So I think the only entry would be the only decent entry would be like here. But damn, this is New York. I'm just realizing. Okay. All right. New York. You got all this right here. You go to the upside. Sellers induced right here. Okay. Also respects his high too. It is a liquidity block though, so you can expect some sort of reaction out of there. Okay. You can expect some sort of reaction out of there because it's a liquidity block. And yeah, pretty much low gets printed, respects there, so he builds that liquidity. Comes and can't tell if it takes out the high, respects it. Takes it out. Okay, it takes out this high. And then shorts from here. And yeah, pretty much. But this would be the only thing I can see. Honestly, because all this liquidity over here, I would not enter here. Just my personal preference. But just trying to catch something over here. RR wouldn't make sense to me either. But yeah, because I would have only expected it to come like max taking out this right here, which it does. Yeah, because after building all this liquidity, I think unless it starts like flying from here and just never pulls it back, I would expect the lows to go. So yeah, the RR doesn't make sense for me to take this because we got this. Boom, boom. So that would be an entry towards the highs, but RR, like I mentioned, RR does not make sense at all. I can even see it right here. It's like almost a one to watch. So you were to enter somewhere here. Yeah, it does not make sense to me at all. That's a 1 to 1.5. Oh my god. Disgusting. All right. So ever since then, you can see Asia high was over here. Came what was it? Market built all this liquidity, Asia, mid Asia or something. Yeah. Comes here, takes that out, moves lower. And then you can see this happen. Boom. Respects the low. Okay. You got your BOS to the upside. Deuces buyers. Respects the low. Also got this happening as well. Takes out the low. Takes out the high. Right. Entry. Straight towards that low. That was pretty decent to be honest. Just expecting these lows to go. Entry right there. Stop loss above. Obviously taking some partials here. Well, to be honest, I'll be taking partials below here. Because you got this is a liquidity block now, right? So you can see some reactions out of there. As you can see, it does give you reactions out of there, and I do not want to be sitting. What is that? 8% profits and then come all the way back to 2%. So definitely take some partials here at this low right here. And then pretty much target the rest of these lows. Yeah, nonetheless, there you go. Takes out this right here. Okay. Honestly, could have targeted that too. And then starts moving to the upside. Unfortunately, I don't see any entries to the upside. There was some sort of liquidity block here that this wouldn't be that bad. But there's nothing to support my trade, honestly. Or the trade. Most of the upside comes all the way to the extreme. Honestly, these would have to be like a higher time frame type of entry. Oh my god. What time was this? Unfortunately, timing sucks, but oh, that was so nice. Doesn't take that out though. Oh, I see why. Okay, respects that liquidity blocks, shorts off. Um, let's see. Respects the lower here. So obviously Asia. Asia respects all that low. Okay, builds that liquidity. And then you can see possibly get an entry during London or something. What time is this? 4:15. Yeah, this is London. So if you're trading London, possibly get sort of entry. You got this taken out. Okay. I would have waited for Asia high to be taken out. I'm not gonna lie to you. Because of this, it didn't take the low. So if it stabbed below the low and then went higher, then it'll classify as like, sellers got trapped right there. But I would have expected Asia high to be taken out. Nonetheless, if it doesn't, it can build some sort of liquidity block for us, like I did there, and then give us some sort of entry towards the lows. Let's go check it out. Actually, going to the lower time frames, it makes sense why Asia didn't get taken out. Damn. Okay, actually, I take that back. Lower time frame wise, that would be an entry because you got this. Liquidity was built above here. I mean, yeah, above here the whole time. You can even see you got a couple times the market. What it does is boom, reacting from these highs. Okay. So all it does is just build more liquidity, right? You got your US to downside induces sellers, traps all of them. You got this happening as well. Boom. Induces them again, traps them, finally takes that liquidity block. Finally takes that liquidity. And then you got liquidity block above. Okay. That would be an entry actually, low key. I just can't believe it comes all the way to that extreme, but damn. Sells off from there. Not bad. Let's see if there was a. Oh, okay. I like this. I like this. Takes it out. I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, I hope you can see it. All right, so what we get is this happened right here. This gets taken out, starts moving to the upside. Okay. But now build some sort of liquidity here. So you just have to wait, right? Where it reacts from. So you can see it comes into the highs and does this. Boom. BOS to the downside. Inducing sellers. And finally comes and traps the sellers over here. So yeah. Expecting lower prices because obviously you got all of this right here, right? All that liquidity over here. So honestly, it's not bad. From there, let's go mark it out. Low gets respected. Okay, takes out the high. Induces traps the seller early sellers. Alright, you got that. BOS the downside, comes lower, traps them. That would be an entry straight to the lows. Honestly, I think that would be the only entry. Unfortunately. But yeah, nonetheless. Little stops above there. Extra breathing room, whatever. And then target straight to the lows. But this would be like a, what do you call that? Like a higher time frame type of entry. Because not higher time frame entry, I mean higher time frame move. Because well, you got a couple things. All that liquidity I was talking about. Okay. You also got this as well. BOS the upside. Okay, and this is buyers. You got all the structural liquidity. Pretty much. Boom. Respects the lows. No problem, bro. Have a good weekend. Respects the lows. You got all the structural liquidity as well, so you can be targeting these too, right? It's not just, you can target so many points if you were to enter there. Wait, not that one. My fault. This one right here. You enter these, this point, any of these points pretty much. But yeah, nonetheless, pretty nice on GJ, and I think I will be leaving it here. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week, or depends who's doing the webinar, but pretty much I'll see you guys next time. Have a nice day and have a great weekend.